recent Haiti earthquake and also Christchurch.
Now, a tsunami warning has been issued for a number of countries in the vicinity of the earthquake. There's also a tsunami watch that's been issued for countries that are further away. If we look at the waves that will strike some of these countries, what kind of time span do you have on when it would strike these countries?
Well, it clearly depends. I mean, we're talking about some parts of Russia, which are pretty close to Japan. We're talking only about 1-2 hours. If we were talking about Taiwan, we're talking about 3 hours, and so on and so forth. If you're talking about Hawaii or just the western coast of the Americas, you're talking about more than 8 to 10 hours. So the good news about the tsunami is that we have time to prevent it. And in the case of the Japanese coast, where the tsunami hit first, I mean, they have the fastest early warning tsunami system in the world, so they issued the alarm in less than 5-10 minutes.
Okay, Mr. Garcia, stay with us. We'll get back to you in a moment. Japan is struck by a massive earthquake. Tsunami waves sweep away everything in their path. Boats were sent crashing under a bridge and cars were swept away across northeast Japan. An oil refinery and a steel plant were among buildings set on fire. Japan's network of nuclear power stations are declared safe so far. A television news helicopter saw how giant waves were lining up out at sea to crash ashore with devastating results. An airport was also flooded. Passengers flocked to the roof for safety. And the moment the quake struck, the lights went out on television journalists. Now, just to bring you up to date on the earthquake, struck just about 2 hours ago, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Japanese local time on Friday afternoon. The earthquake has been measured at a magnitude of 8.9 in magnitude. It struck off the northeast coast of the country, off Honshu Island, which is the largest island in the string of islands that make up Japan. It is also the most populated island, although the east coast area where the earthquake struck was not as populated as some of the more densely populated areas around Tokyo. Now, the quake has prompted warnings around the Pacific Rim of a tsunami. In some areas, the water level could rise up to 6 meters, according to the Japanese Meteorological Center. And we did see pictures earlier on, and we can see pictures right now, of a wave of water that hit the east coast of Japan. These are live pictures that we're looking at right now. That wave of water hitting the east coast of Japan, believed to be up to 1 meter in height of the tsunami that was generated by that earthquake. The tsunami area, the warning area, covers a huge area along the Pacific Rim. There's a tsunami warning as well as a tsunami watch for an area that extends from the east coast of Japan all the way up to Russia, Guam, Taiwan, the Philippines, Indonesia, as well as Hawaii, which is expected to see some of the after effects of that tsunami as well. In fact, Hawaii is monitoring events from its Pacific Tsunami Warning Center right there. And as I've mentioned, the quake struck in mid-afternoon, Friday afternoon, local time in Japan. The epicenter of that earthquake was about 125 kilometers off the coast, and the quake itself was about 24 meters underwater, relatively shallow water, and that is an area which is about 300 kilometers northeast of the capital, Tokyo. Although we did see pictures earlier on of buildings swaying in Tokyo. We saw office workers get up and leave the building. Some of them panicked. We saw, you can see these pictures right now of these buildings swaying. I think these are pictures from Japan and the area around Japan. Workers, of course, left their offices, poured out into the streets. We also saw pictures earlier on of a building on fire. A refinery was set on fire as well. The Japanese Prime Minister has been talking to his country in the wake of this earthquake, saying that the government will do all he can to minimize damage and help the people. Let's take a listen to what he had to say just a few minutes ago.
To the people of Japan, you probably have already seen on television and heard over radio that at 14:46 today, an earthquake hit of 8.4 on the magnitude scale, centered around the shores offshore Sanriku. It was a very strong earthquake. And in the Tohoku region, mainly and over a wide area, damage has been inflicted. I offer my deepest sympathy to the people who have suffered the disaster. Regarding our nuclear power facilities, some of the nuclear power plants have stopped automatically, but so far, no radioactive material or radiation has been confirmed to have been leaked to the outside. There has been no information of those lines so far. And given this situation, an emergency disaster response headquarters